Back on Gertie Rude, back again, that Wednesday mood. Well, hello, VTubers, it's me, it's your old Gert, I'm back again. It's your Gertrude Rudacious. Can't help myself, you know me, I can't keep myself away from the souks and boulevards, highways and byways of your VTubers. And with that, we're going to plunge straight in to this. Prince Harry jets back to MEGHAN Markle only 24 hours after landing in the UK. I mean, what is he, a bleeding pigeon or something? Was he on a homing tracker, you know? Hello, I've touched home and I'm just going to turn around and go back to base, basically. And I'll have to do that, otherwise I'll get a right good wigging. And I've already lost half my bleeding hair, so I better get home. Anyway, we're going to plunge in and see what has been going on. What we should be discombobulated and outraged about, VTubers. Oh, yes, we should. Come on, let's happen. What's going on? What's going on?
Thanks for coming on board.
Let's turn him up.
Rupert. Yeah, we were talking to your colleague, our colleague Sarah Houston.
Right. Somebody's colleague. Nobody cares.
And I was saying,
right,
that, you know, whichever way you stack the cards, whichever way you look at this.
Yes.
People making great play. Oh, it's fantastic.
No, it's
Harry
not.
got to see his dad. 30 minutes before his dad got into a helicopter and flew to Sandringham.
I don't bloody well blame him, do you? I mean, not being funny, you're bleeding ill, you don't feel too good. You face months of grueling and very invasive therapy of one thing and another, chemo and radiation, and oh, for God's sake, they've never got their hands out your inners. Do you get me, capiche? And then that termite turns up. I mean, you know. To be fair, he's lucky old Charles has got something to run to. Yes, because most of us in that position, you just have to stay and listen and sort of smile, don't you? No, I don't blame him. I would. I'd bugger off as well. I'd say, what are you doing here? Look what the cat dragged in. Eh? Well, it can drag itself right back out again. It can. Yes, it can. Anyway, the other point I'd like to make is the whole globe should also notice that when Harry's father, yes, was #/ in impending doom of a sort of chronic disease that could also turn out to be terminal, and his life hung on a knife point. Yes, he went to see him. But when the Markle's dad, yes, was on his deathbed, and his life hung, well, completely in the balance, didn't it, to be honest? Twice. Once with a heart attack, second time with a stroke. Both very, very serious and life-threatening, to say the least, and life-changing. Well, life-threatening at the very most, life-changing at the least. Markle didn't even text. She didn't ring. She didn't send flowers. She didn't do niche. So, I wonder whether when Harry gets into bed with her tonight, or gets into bed with Marcus Anderson, or whatever the vibe's going on, are they polyamorous, or whatever the word is? They're poly-something. Polystyrene. Yeah? How could he get into bed knowing, with that old thing, knowing that she's just a cold-hearted old bleeding crock, isn't she? She really is, them bleeding gnashers. I'm sure they've given her free front teeth as well. Yes, they really become her, you know, my dears. Let's go.
Harry flew 11 hours.
Yes.
Was not given a royal residence to stay in.
Yeah.
Had to find himself a hotel.
But on the plus side, in the 11 hours, no one on earth had to put up with him. So, I mean, you haven't thought of that, Kev, have you? I mean, if you think of it, really, nobody on planet Earth. Meghan was like, oh, if I were you, I'd get a jet and go over there thinking, I've got, fuck's sake, at least I've got a few hours to free from this old moaning old bleeding ninny. And also, conversely, the royals didn't have to think about him for 11 hours. Probably that's their thing. They're just probably going to keep putting him in the air, aren't they? Old Bunker Harry. Yes, he's airborne now, my dears. Let's go.
Clarence House. A quick half an hour with the King.
That's half an hour too long, isn't it?
Helicopter to Sandringham. After which we assume Harry returned to his hotel. We're thinking he might be flying back today.
Yes.
And the message from William is, I do not want to see you until hell freezes over.
That's nice.
Let's
Feeling that.
Right. Well, the
Feeling
paper
that.
is trying to sort of go, oh, it's marvellous.
Right.
Reunion. Harry has
Don't say anything about Frozen, because you know me, I don't watch news, I don't watch films, and I especially don't watch kids' cartoons that are made into films. But if anybody says it's like a scene out of Frozen, you know who, Bish Bash Bosh, is going to be the princess in Frozen. Yes, if you talk about freezing or frozen, we're never going to hear the bloody end of it. She's going to turn up like Elsa, isn't she? Oh, me. I'm the princess out of Frozen, something or other. I can't even remember the theme song now, because guess what? I don't care. She's more like Elsa out of the bleeding Born Free, isn't she? Than Frozen. Anyway, let's go. Come on.
Dished the snub of his life here,
Right.
hasn't he?
Well, he deserves it.
Has he? What I think it means when he goes back to California,
Right.
I think they want to make sure that whatever he said to his father within those 30 minutes and whatever happened doesn't suddenly end up being public knowledge. And
It will be. He'll write a book about it. He'll have a 12-part bleeding documentary series on that half hour. And then I walked in and I said to Pa, I said, hello, Pa. Have you got any dosh before you croak it, old bean? Anyway, moving on.
Because
Don't be
that's
flippant,
the way
Gertie
he's
Rudess.
going to be able to rebuild relationships, is to get the trust happening.
Right.
So for him to come and see his father, I don't have a problem with that. Clearly, it's a long way to come over for.
It's not long enough.
For 30 minutes.
Could be
but
further
it's
than
better
that.
Than nothing.
Yes.
And let's hope that whatever the circumstances are,
Right.
he can start to
Bugger
find
off.
a way of
Oh, sorry.
rebuilding his trust. The king wants to make sure there is some sort of relationship with his youngest son, and this may be a start of it.
But it makes me laugh that they're married, this couple, and when he heard from his dad that he had this cancer diagnosis, his knee-jerk reaction, and it probably was, on reflection, a knee-jerk reaction, considering obviously the king's time was taken up with, let me guess, things like therapy, chemo, stuff like that, you know what I mean, petty stuff, that had no place for the Harold. But it was his knee-jerk reaction to be at his dad's side. And yet the Marklet, maybe she ain't got no knees. Do you get me, capiche? Yes, well, we know what she has got. And it's not knees, my darling. Come on.
As far as William is concerned.
Well, say knees, she has got quite well-developed knees, dear Futufus. Yes, on account of spending quite a long time on them. So I wouldn't have thought that her knee-jerk reaction wasn't in any way to even send a text to her father. So let's try and work out which one has got the narcissistic personality disorder and which one is the histrionic. Off the top of my bleeding head. In fact, the other one, I think she's sociopathic as well as narcissistic. Bleeding cretin. How she could just not go and see her dad, I do not know. Or even if she has made it into the big time, how can she not be more magnanimous to her half-siblings? I mean, really? And I'll tell you what happens, because I don't know whether you lot have been there. They're completely heartless. People can die willy-nilly around them. Yeah? And they won't even turn a hair. In fact, what I've found very often with people with this disorder, if somebody in their sphere gets, say, something like cancer, they've got it 3 times worse, but live 8 times longer. Do you get me? And whatever you know, if you've broken your leg, well, they've broken 2 legs and a hip. Everything is far worse for them. But also, when they do get ill, well, everybody needs to leave town, because I'll tell you what, you're just a servant. You're on your beck and call 24/7 to them, because they're ill. Oh my God, I'm really ill. They've always had everything far worse than anybody else, and it's always everybody's fault they've got it, never theirs, or their lifestyle, or whatever. Do you get me? Oh dear, it's totally a one-way street with a narcissist. Anyway, where are we? I'm going off course. Harry's been frozen. Was he in the movie? Perhaps he was Elsa. Perhaps they put a wig on him. It's hard to know, isn't it, dear?
There is a long way to go before that seems to be anything like normal.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine how...
Well, I can't, because of the... I can't blame William in that, because, I mean, I've read the comments, especially on the sugar channels, which I make my business incumbent on me to crawl through them. I don't bother leaving comments. I just go and read what they're saying. And to be honest, they depress me more than anything else, really, because some of the stuff they write is just disgusting. And actually, some of the channels, the talking heads that own the channels, the stuff they come out with is absolutely despicable. I mean, it's lower than a snake's belly. It's lower than a bleeding snake that lives in a bleeding grave belly. Or worm. Yeah, a worm. Say a worm. You know, the stuff that I've read, no one should have to read, that the sugars have come out with. And, yeah, I don't blame William, because I would think to myself, all the time you're paying for those knobbins, you are literally don't put 1 foot over my doorstep, like, ever. And not only that, because you can't exactly blame the Markle 100%, because it's Harry that thanks the Sussex Squad in his book. Thank you to the Sussex Squad. I know they're both as bad, but it's not like she's operating them in a void that he doesn't, or he's not aware of. He's more than aware of the Sussex Squad. And until he reins them in, and Scobie, and Omid, what's his name, Boozy and Omid Scobie. I can't think what his name is. Is it Christopher Pistover? No one gives a flip about. Boozy, boozed up, pissed up idiot. Yeah. And, I mean, he's a half-cock bleeding fool, that one, isn't he? He really is. And also Omid Scobie, all the time they've got their little flying monkeys and their gatekeepers and the people that put out all this rubbish. On TikTok, there's some real hate channels on there that absolutely hate William and Catherine and the children and are so vile about them. Also on YouTube, but not to the degree they are on TikTok. And obviously I don't bother. I don't want to sunny forth. I've read enough. It's bad enough. So, yeah. All things considered, it's beyond just the family and letting sleeping dogs lie and just moving on from it is so much more than that. I mean, some of the stuff that's written about the children, and obviously, William isn't stupid. He's probably, obviously, got more information made available to him than what any of us know. Do you get me? I'm sure if he could write a book, he could write a far better and more accurate book than his bleeding half-cocked brother. So, yeah. I don't blame William, and I'd be quite affronted if that position between William and Kate changed towards Harry, because it's just not right that he should get away with paying people like he does to write the stuff that they do.
Will be feeling right now. We keep saying, don't we, that it's almost the only profession in the world where rather than get compassionate leave after a family tragedy, you have to actually act up, get a promotion you didn't ask for, and do it all in the glare of the public eye.
I don't know, it's not the only family.
On that subject, William has indeed been filling in for his father today. Tell us more about what he's been up to.
Well, he carried out an investigation.
I think, yeah, he's been doing it. Should we just do it so we can feast our eyes? Let's have a look at William.
Yesterday.
Hello, William.
It's quite normal for them to do this.
He looks lovely, doesn't he? Bless him.
But in future, with the king no longer doing public-facing duties, then William and the Princess of Royal... And
it's horrible, because his wife's ill, you know. As I say, despicable things are written about his children, like they're public fodder. Yet the Marklets, you're not allowed to see their children unless it's in silhouette. And they seem to have varying colours of hair. Harry goes around pushing an empty pram like a 2-year-old toddler with a snotty nose, doesn't he? Anyway, I think I've said too much. Probably, as I always say, gonna have to avoid tunnels, story of my life. And wherever you are in the world, have an excellent, excellent evening, morning, afternoon, or good night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And we'll probably all meet again tomorrow, troops, won't we? Bye-bye now.